Hey folks, Sean here, and in this episode, what I want to talk to you about is something that I've built for you, and that's a guide to leverage AI-assisted strategies to help generate more organic content that should help you with climbing the search engine optimization rankings for your B2B SaaS. Now, the objective here was to figure out how to create and send more organic traffic to your landing pages, to your websites. That's what I'm studying now for my podcasting B2B SaaS application because I'm having success with ads, but I want to see if I can get a better return on generating even more traffic by investing further into marketing and more specifically to climb the search engine rankings for what my B2B customers may be searching for. So I went deep down a rabbit hole of figuring out SEO, AI content generated, pretty much everything in 2023. And what I've done along the way, because I really enjoy doing this, I'm a total nerd that way, I like building procedures about how to follow what steps in terms of what's optimal in producing results. Now, since I built that, I created that and shared it in a version that's going to be available to you. And I'm going to have a link in the show notes below that you can simply click and fill out a quick type form, punch in your email, and then that guide will be sent to you, which goes into a detailed step-by-step guide that I compiled from reverse engineering lots of advice that I received from several YouTube channels and other areas of the research that I performed all over the web. Now, in terms of resources that I want to recommend for you, in terms of where I got some of this advice from to build these resources, there's two YouTube channels in particular that I want to specifically mention because I found them to just be crazy helpful. And the first is from someone named Matt Diggity. Matt's channel has got some amazing SEO content on it. And more specifically, he's talking a lot these days about the AI component of the SEO world or search engine optimization world, as in what should or shouldn't be created. He's run a bunch of experiments in terms of what has worked and what hasn't, and he's sharing those results with you, which is super helpful. Another mention that I want to toss out there as well too is Neil Patel. And if you're unfamiliar with Neil's work, he's got a ton of experience in SEO and marketing as well. Also, another fantastic YouTube channel. So both Matt's and Neil's channels are mentioned and linked in the guide that I'm providing to you by email. I recommend you check out both of their content because it can be really helpful to level up your game here, just like it's helping me level up mine. Now, because I love building these guides, in it has a ton of the advice that they've shared and that I've found elsewhere to kind of break it down into more of a step-by-step. Here's how you go from zero to potentially building a process that either you or someone else on your team can maintain and manage moving forward, creating great SEO content to hopefully send more organic traffic to your B2B SaaS landing pages and websites as you climb those SEO rankings. Now, the whole idea here, part of the objective is to create the best content in order to verify things like the keywords that they're searching for, the search intent, to make sure that the keyword that you've selected is ultimately the audience and going to send you the kind of traffic that you're looking for. And then ultimately evaluating the performance as well too in terms of how well did that work. Identifying keyword opportunities. There's so much content here, it's crazy. I'm going to talk a lot more about it as I'm building this in public and my other B2B SaaS products, but this is specifically something I'm focusing on now because what I want to do, just so that you have an idea for my end goal, is as I'm building these things and how I'd recommend you do the same, I go figure out what the latest process that's the most effective is today. Then I build a current version of that process and I look for other members of my team I may be able to delegate that to, like virtual assistants, for example. I will train them up on these procedures, I'll help them go through them, and then we'll work together to further optimize them. That's kind of the potential end goal here, but before I get there, I want to build a procedure that I know works and I'm going to test it myself. So what I'm going to be sharing with you in terms of the guide is something that I've used to produce ultimately one of my very recent articles that I've written on my nextstep.io, nxtstep.io website. I'll link to that article in the description below as well too, so you can see what the results ultimately look like and decide for yourself. But the last thing that I'm going to mention is this guide in particular that I'm sharing with you is very heavily focused on the AI side of the world. Now, there's a lot of steps involved with creating great SEO content. And then when I say content, I'm particularly talking about written content like articles and blog articles and things like that. And there is a ton of progress that's been made in terms of artificial intelligence tools to help us be more effective and more efficient with that work. Now, there's going to be a lot more content to come, but I want to get this guide out there to you as soon as possible. And then I'm going to tear it apart, go into greater details with it, talk about all the great, helpful linked resources and tools that are in that guide that I'm tearing apart and using and testing, and then providing feedback for you along the way as well too. But this one, just so that you know, is largely focused on AI or artificial intelligence related SEO, copywriting tools. And moving forward, we're going to talk more about where that line is as I run these experiments in terms of, is the AI content outperforming the organic content? Is the organic content outperforming the AI content? And even more than that. So get a copy of that guide. It'll be linked in the show notes below. And let me know what kind of feedback you have if you find that helpful, plus any additional guides you'd like to see on other topics as well.